In this project I used the rim from a Nimbus Unicycle 36-inch to build a wheel for a snow oval to replace what was there. The wheel kept breaking, so I cut the flange off. I'm going to reuse the flange and the original snow oval tire. The wheel is built on a Sun Trike rear hub, and those come without any gearing, so it's just a simple steel hub. You can get them with different size axle, I guess bearing races, but I decided to take whatever they sent me and I would adapt for it. I glued in a piece of quarter-inch ethafoam as a gluing surface for the flange. And I used Gorilla Glue, so you wet both surfaces, apply the Gorilla Glue, and then to one of the surfaces, and then push, and then you have to clamp it down. I used Scotch tape as the clamp, so I just ran Scotch tape around the foam on the wheel. And then I used the flange on top of that with Gorilla Glue. I'm using the ties, the zip ties as a clamp for that part of the gluing process. It's supposed to be an hour to 2 hours to have the Gorilla Glue cure. And then the flange is a little bit too long, so this rim is a little bit smaller than the original one. But I cut it, notched it out so it would fit together pretty close. Then I cut off those zip ties, and when I was applying the wheel, it was also a bit too long, so I decided to cut off the two areas that have the recession for the original wheel. I used a coping saw, and it cut through that better than I tried to use a tin snips, but that didn't make a very clean cut. So you just apply it to the flange, just like the tire to the flange. The reason I wanted to reuse the tire is because I don't have to worry about pumping up a tire every time there's a snowstorm. So this worked pretty well. I measured for a new to adapt the axle. I used a 1/2 inch by 5 inch hex bolt, and then the appropriate spacers and shims and stuff to make it all work. I ended up cutting off the axle at about 1 3/4 inches, which is about the width of the box. The box is is the box tubing that the snow oval framework is made out of. So that original axle cut at 1 3/4 inches serves as a shim for the 1/2 inch 5 by 5 inch hex bolt, which is serving as the axle for the wheel. Overall, I'm satisfied with how the wheel is working with the snow oval. I haven't been using it in heavy snow, but it's a much more solid wheel than what I have had in the past. The original equipment breaks on the flanges of the spokes, so I just wasn't satisfied with that.